This broadcast will start in 60 seconds. This broadcast will start in 45 seconds. This broadcast will start in 30 seconds. This broadcast will start in 15 seconds. This broadcast will start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org.
This is Darius Oliver, and you're listening to 92.1 KXVS, The Voice of Stockton.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, The Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Good morning, Stocktonians, and welcome to another exciting episode of Tales and Tips. I am honored to have with me Brian Lafferty and John Oliva of the Delta Windjammers. And for those of you that don't know what that is our local disc golf group who currently has set up a course at Swenson Park. Before we start to talk about the organization, I just want to give a PSA and a shout out to the National Federation of the Blind. They are having a dinner and dance Saturday, June 23rd from 5 to 10:30 p.m. And they are a very important organization in our community. The event is going to be held at the Mexican Heritage Center, which also is a huge facility in our community. So please support them. The station has tickets. You can reach out to the Federation of the Blind and also the Mexican Heritage Center as well. All right, with no further ado, I'm going to give a shout out to my fellow Rotarian, Brian Lafferty, who also happens to be a local lawyer, and we'll let him talk about how this happened that we now have disc golf at Swenson Park.
Oh, thanks, Julie. I appreciate it. And yes, a shout out to the Rotarians who may be listening or watching this later. I have to give if not all of the credit to John Oliva, my friend here, and also fellow board member from the Delta Windjammers.
Yay!
Yeah.
Hello.
He's the reason we were set up with a new disc golf course in Swenson Park there, and so perhaps I can give you a little background on the club, and then I'll let him take it over to talk to you about the new course, if that's all right with you.
That'd
be fine. That'd be fine.
Okay, so the club started out in 1994. There was a 9-hole course that was installed at the Oak Grove Park up on 8 Mile Road. That was expanded later on. I think it was... the original course, went in 86, and then the course got expanded in 94 when 8 Mile Road was expanded to 2 lanes right there, and part of the holes were going to be gobbled up by the expansion of 8 Mile Road. So the Windjammers at the time had an agreement with the park to expand it to 18. And then flash forward through that time, we had been doing Professional Disc Golf Association tournaments 2 times a year.
Awesome.
Had expanded into some charity tournaments that we had started doing. And then finally in 2013, this gentleman to my left spearheaded an expansion to put another 19 holes on that course.
Wow.
And so we have 2 basically championship level courses at Oak Grove that have allowed us to bring in larger events, including the CenCal and NorCal events that we have yearly. And then back in 2016, we hosted the United States Masters Disc Golf Championships, which was the 40 and over championships for the whole country.
That's huge that you hosted that.
It was quite an endeavor, and we were really proud to do it. We got congressional recognition for it.
Wow.
all the big older pros came across the country to Stockton to play, and we were
Awesome.
absolutely delighted to have them.
How did they choose Stockton? How does that selection process happen?
Well, there's a bid process, just as like you imagine for other things. We set up the facilities that we had here in Stockton. We partnered up with the Visit Stockton, who are our great friends. Hello, Wes. Hello,
Tim? Yeah.
hello, Tim. Hi.
Yes.
And basically, they got us situated to get the bid into the Professional Disc Golf Association, and they honored our bid. And
Awesome.
we held this huge event. It was absolutely
A pretty
fantastic.
awesome event. Yeah,
Oh, it was amazing. Absolutely wonderful to see the talent.
That's pretty impressive. Excellent.
Meanwhile, we've been trying to get another course. There was one installed at the Lockford Ball Golf Course out on Highway 88 there for a while, and that since has not been going as they would have liked. There's another associated disc golf course in Lodi, but our club wanted to expand more into Stockton because of the support we've had, and so John had been spearheading those efforts and has now been fruitful.
Yay.
Why don't you take it away?
Yeah, it's been a good time. It's been a good time. Actually, when we expanded Oak Grove Park, that actually gave me the momentum to continue to do what I like to do, and that's share disc golf and embrace it with everybody involved. And of course, not living far from Swenson, it's always been my my passion to put something on the 9-hole executive
Awesome.
par 3 course. And it did start about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we started talking about it. I went out there and I did some walking around and daydreaming and put together an 18-hole course, presented it at the time, and it's all about time, and it wasn't ready. We weren't ready to do it then.
Presented it to City Council or
No,
presented
presented it
to
to
who?
the course itself, to Camper Sports and Swenson.
Okay.
And at that time, they weren't ready to move on anything. Now with Save Swenson, it seems timing is everything.
Now is the time. Now
Now
there's
is the time.
momentum, and now we need the help.
Absolutely.
And that's phenomenal, because to me, to hear that this is something that you were a visionary in way before there was the issue with Swenson Park is phenomenal. Swenson Park is so beautiful, and I love that we're bringing something else, another activity there that people can enjoy that's not traditional golf, and it's just another way to help protect the park.
Absolutely. And I'm a little selfish in saying that I wanted a course close to my home.
We did. We all do.
Yeah, and
It's
so
okay,
it's
there's
a
nothing
perfect
wrong with that.
location. It was a perfect location to add another course to Stockton, and since we installed it and opened and had the ribbon cutting on last Tuesday,
Yes.
I went
it's
there.
been
It
a
was
steady
awesome.
stream of disc golfers coming out and playing and enjoying. Renting carts, using the cafe, obviously playing from sun up to sundown, which is a joy for all of us.
And a huge change, because
Yes.
before at Oak Grove, you couldn't play before 8 a.m.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so I actually took liberty on that one on Saturday morning and played at 6:30 in the morning.
Wow,
It's
wonderful.
wonderful.
That's great.
a little exercise before work.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And now they're selling the discs. They have a part of their
Mm-hmm.
store devoted to disc golf, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I was excited to see the turnout for the ribbon cutting, especially for a ribbon cutting that was at 8:30 in the morning. There were a lot of people there, and it wasn't just people that play disc golf. And of course, I love that your guys' color is purple,
Yeah.
my favorite color. So
Mm-hmm.
that just made it extra special for me.
Yeah, we're passionate about the purple.
Yeah. Yeah. You can go anywhere actually you can go anywhere in California, obviously, across the U.S. And if you see purple, you've got a pretty good idea that's a windjammer.
Awesome.
So,
At least on disc golf
Awesome.
courses, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now, explain the terminology of windjammer, and is Delta, so is windjammer a specific term for disc golf? So explain that.
I think when the club started, they wanted to embrace the whole disc golf, scene and contribute back to the San Joaquin Valley. I think the name Delta Windjammer came from Stockton being the Delta.
Okay.
Naturally, we have a lot of wind coming up in the afternoons.
Okay.
They put 2 and 2 together. They said, we want to call ourselves the Delta Windjammers.
All right. But other cities don't have windjammers. That's not a specific term to the
No,
sport.
it's
That's our team.
It's a type of sailing vessel, actually.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to the sailing club.
Yeah, and it's just our club name. We have Windjammer shirts, hats, and again, you will see people all over wearing Delta Windjammer apparel,
Yeah.
I
which
love
is really
it.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So for those people in the in our listening audience that don't know a lot about disc golf, what does it cost to play? How easy is it to learn? And what are startup costs if you want to purchase your own equipment?
It's relatively inexpensive. You can buy a set of discs for just under $50. You can carry them in your hand, or you can go a little further, buy a bag. It can range anywhere from $100 to $300, depending on the bag you want. But most discs, they run anywhere from $10 to $15. Some of the more high performance discs may cost $18, $22.
Okay.
So you can set yourself up really good for about $50.
Awesome.
Most of your courses, you can go and just walk on courses to play. Now, a lot of them, like Oak Grove, which have boating, they have fishing, disc golf. So there's an entry fee. Swenson, for example, it's a golf course, so you're paying your green fees. We've negotiated with Joe Smith out at Swenson to have $5 rounds or $10 all day.
Awesome.
You can rent a cart, for I think $15 all day or for your round. So you can really play for as little as $5 a round or as much as $25 all day, which to some people seems like a lot of money, but to most people
really
it's
not.
not bad at all.
That's a
Not bad at
couple
all.
cups of coffee.
Well, green fees for ball golf on the Executive 9 is
Yeah.
$10. And so, like, on the weekends, you can get a round in at Swenson for $5 when it'll cost you $6 a car to enter Oak Grove Park or Mickey Grove Park. So,
And that's why we need our community course. We need
Absolutely.
it to keep it at a level that everyone can afford to do it if they want to do it. How are the golfers responding to you? Are they happy that you're there? Are they upset? Are you interfering with them playing golf? How is that working?
I think we got to be specific. First of all, are we talking about the ball golfers or the disc golfers?
Yes, the ball golfers.
Yeah. So when we talk about golfers now, if
need
they're
to
playing
be
with the
more
little
specific.
white ball, we just need
Okay.
to call them ball golfers.
Yes.
And perhaps that's a change in the way things are done normally. I don't know, but anyway, I find it kind of funny, honestly. But so they're curious. When they've seen it happen on other courses, I think the interaction has been favorable because
Good.
they realize that we have the same rules of courtesy that they do. We're championing those ethics and the basic rules of the game just as much as they are, and we do it a little more informally, but at least a teaching of the rules. But everybody still has this basic ethos of courtesy and right of way and things like that. So I think that they're responding well. It's time will tell, but usually if a ball golf course goes on a disc golf course goes on a ball golf course, the reason it ends is not usually because of the conflict between golfers or disc golfers. It's
Okay,
probably a
good.
financial thing overall.
Okay,
Yeah, they are
good.
very curious throughout the whole process. We took every bit of 3 months to build this course, starting
It seemed
from,
like it was faster. It seemed
yeah.
like it went up overnight.
Well, we work fast.
The heavy lifting
really,
went pretty quick.
but really, you had to start with, digging out the tee pads, framing the tee pads, pouring the concrete, putting in sleeves, and so this whole process did take us about 3 months, start to finish, with tee signs, and so you can see it being built. And as we're out there working, we get, golfers coming up and saying, "Hey, what's going on? Are you putting another bench, so we can sit out?" "No, we're putting a tee pad in." "A tee pad for what?" And so you start educating, you start sharing. We got a lot of smiles, a lot of thumbs up, a lot of, "Hey, this is going to be great."
Good.
And to date, we have had nothing but cooperation, high fives.
Yep.
It's
Great.
been positive. It's really been positive.
I think that's one thing that we should highlight, though. Disc golf, when we tee off from a concrete tee that has been roughed up a little bit for traction, and that's a little bit different from what the golfers are used to. But realistically, where the pads are that we put them shouldn't affect the ball golf at all. That's the way John designed the course, was actually
Wonderful.
so that the ball golf, the disc golf, and there's 2 other sports that play on the Executive 9, by the way, which I wanted to
foot
mention.
golf, yeah.
Foot golf is the other, and then the kids golf has a 15-inch cup on the green, which allows them to a little bit more leeway in putting. So there's actually 4 sports that are on the Executive 9 now.
Awesome. Excellent. And to me, that's maximum use of the park. more people enjoying the park and more revenue for the park, which is awesome. To me, this is just a win-win. Talk about how you fundraised for the park and how easy or difficult that was.
It wasn't that difficult, believe it or not. Again, golfers being selfish, wanting to play as many courses as they can. We put out the word, hey, we want to put a disc golf course at Swenson, but we need your help. And we put that out on Facebook. We have a lot of friends in the community.
You shared it at Rotary.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, Brian shared it at Rotary. And so, when people found out that it was part of a Save Swenson, everybody said yes. Everybody said, yes, I want in. About half of those, maybe not half, but close to half of those sponsors were disc golfers. Myself.
And regular players, yeah.
Regular players that said, I want to contribute. And so...
And local businesses, too.
Local businesses, Rotary.
Yeah, well, when we did the shout-out at Rotary, I had an opportunity to approach a couple other groups and talk to them about the benefits of this, and they were very, very generous. So the timing worked out perfectly.
Awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
Excellent,
Absolutely.
excellent. And so now that we have this course, what's different about it compared to the other course in Stockton that you've been playing? How does this course compare in terms of difficulty and environment and such?
I think with myself, when I designed the course, I wanted fun to be, thought of when you played this course. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be fun so we can hit all ages. We have a high school, a middle school right across the street, so we want those kids to come across the street and play disc golf. Could we have made it super challenging? Probably, but I think this course, the way it's designed, is that it hits all ages, your recreation, your amateur, and even some of your pros.
Awesome.
Some of your pros will go out there and say, wow, this is a great course, it's kind of easy, but it was fun. And that's what we wanted with Swenson, is to be fun. Oak Park, we considered Oak Park the country club.
Okay.
Because in the Central Valley, if you play disc golf throughout the Central Valley, there's all different levels of courses. You're playing on dirt, you're playing, in tumbleweeds. Oak Park has always been the country club because it's well manicured. Plenty of restrooms, plenty of garbage cans. It really looks nice. Water comes into play. But now with Swenson, it's really icing on the cake. It's well manicured.
Jeez,
yeah, it's beautiful out there. We have foxes and squirrels and birds out there while you're playing.
Turtles too.
Yeah.
Lots of wildlife.
The water comes into play. The greens are immaculate, and it's just a really, really beautiful place to be.
And the other thing that I was excited to hear at the ribbon cutting on Tuesday is that you're going to have tournaments there. You're going to have a Poppy tournament coming up that we should talk about, the Women's League. And that's exciting because it means that people from out of the area are going to be coming to help to support our park as well.
Well, 2 times a year, we usually have a Central Valley Series tournament that we have in February, and that brings people from all over Central California, as far away as Bakersfield, as far north as like Eureka. They'll come to Stockton in February, and then we have a 2-day tournament usually in July called
Frying Pan.
Frying Pan. Thank you.
Frying pan.
Anyway, a long morning.
In July.
Yeah, in July.
Okay.
And so we usually bring a lot of people in there. And so with the other tournaments that we're going to be starting to throw at Swenson, we wanted to look to diversify things a little bit. So the first one we're doing is a portion of the women's series here in California called the Poppy Series. And ours is called the Country Club Classic. And I think we're going to have like 50 or 60 women coming out on 21st of July. And that will be our first tournament for the Windjammers at the Swenson disc golf course.
Awesome.
Terribly
awesome.
excited.
And how appropriate is that? Ladies first?
Exactly.
Yes, that's
Disc golf,
wonderful.
yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Ladies first.
Yeah, I think we're going to actually put that somewhere.
I think we should. I think that should be the catchphrase. So when you have the tournament, what happens on that day if someone wants to play ball golf?
Well, what we do is, we work with Swenson and we say, we need the course. We need the course all day. And
Okay.
so we'll pay the green fees, for all day. And it's part of the entry to get in. We actually have a sponsor that's going to sponsor the Ladies First
Yeah, that's
Country
right. The
Club.
Central Valley Safety Council will be supporting us again. Shout
All
out to
right.
those folks from Rotary.
Awesome.
And so we will. We'll close the course. We'll let the ladies play 2 rounds of golf. We'll feed them lunch. We'll have food and beverages. During the round, there'll be raffle prizes. There'll be an award ceremony once we're done. It's actually a really, really cool event to come out and watch.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And did you say there's going to be raffle prizes? Are you going to have a raffle?
We always have raffle prizes
Awesome.
at our tournaments.
Great. And so there's the activities going on. So even if people aren't participating in the tournament, it's fun to enjoy and participate in some of the other things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so during lunch, we can do a little putting clinics or maybe some long drive,
Competition.
Competition.
Awesome.
So it's fun and games. We have to take scores and tally scores. So there's a little bit of time in between first and second round. That's when we do our games.
Okay.
But when we're playing, the girls are really playing seriously.
All right.
It's a tournament.
All right.
Yeah.
And in general, what do you anticipate that disc golf will bring to Swenson financially?
Oh gosh, that's hard to say. We were talking between $25,000 and $40,000 a year, probably.
Awesome.
And
that's huge.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a bigger opening than we thought we were going to, and that doesn't include any of the tournaments. That doesn't include any of the pro shop sales, which we're not taking a part of. Although
No, they're just purchasing the disc from OTB and.
we should mention OTB, which is only the best discs. And he's Danny Corbett's business there. He's
Awesome.
a person usually who does our merchandise, and he sells a lot of discs. So he's actually, I think, set up some sort of franchising agreement with the Swenson
Great.
Pro Shop.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have a website?
Yeah, otbdiscs.com.
Awesome. And actually, let's step back and talk about Delta Windjammers more. Do you guys have a website, Facebook page?
Yes, the Facebook page is very active.
Okay.
There'll usually be like 20, 30 posts a day on there. People just saying, hey, I'm going out to play, or I've got a question about this, or, I lost a disc on this hole, or, in the water, which is something that happens.
Facebook is the best way to network, and even myself, when I go out of town, I look at the local club, and I'll hit their Facebook page and say, when are your weeklies? Do you have monthlies? Can somebody come out and show me around?
Yeah.
And people just jump on and they say, I will meet you there.
Awesome.
And we do the same thing here. Yeah.
I personally
Great.
have gone as far away as Kauai and found disc golf clubs there, or Green Bay, Wisconsin, found a club there
Cool.
and went and played. It was fantastic.
Awesome. And what about lessons? Does your organization offer lessons if someone in our listening audience decides, this sounds great, I want to buy a set of discs and I want to go and start?
Well, we haven't actually said we're going to do lessons once a month. But I think we're there. I think we're there with outreach.
I think that's true.
We've done stuff for the ports. We did an outreach for the ports last year.
Yeah, last August, I think it was.
And so, our club is really active. It's just exploding, and we said to ourselves, hey, we have to bring in, more people to disc golf. So what do we want to do? I think lessons is something that we can do, and what we will do.
Well, that's the
Great.
other thing about disc golfers. I mean, I don't think I've ever met a disc golfer I didn't like. Honestly, I mean, I've gone, and like I said, I've gone as far as Florida and Wisconsin, and Hawaii, all kinds of places. If you don't know how to do something, or if you don't know what the rules are of the hole or the rule of the sport, you see another disc golfer, you ask them. And the great thing is we don't usually mind if you want to join our group when we're playing on a foursome, just casual rounds. Hey, come up and ask. We're usually able
Awesome.
to answer whatever question you have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what are the dues to become a Delta Windjammer? And do you have meetings?
We do. We actually have quarterly meetings. The club talks about upcoming tournaments, fundraisers, action items, things we want to do. Yearly, we do have what's called bag tags, and bag tags that's a little circular tag with a number on it, 1 to 150, and when you play your tournaments or weeklies, you play for that number. The lowest number, obviously, is the best player of the day. Bag tags usually run about $25-$30.
I think they're 15, and if you wanted a shirt, there was 40, right?
Yeah.
At least that was last year. This year we
Well, it
did.
comes in a package.
Yeah, we have a package. But I think if you want to buy a tag, it's $15.
Yeah, $15 a tag. You can get a shirt with an extra $15, and sometimes we throw in a towel. So membership.
Throw in
Membership.
the towel. I
Yeah,
like
throw in a towel.
Well, it's very important to have a towel on wet mornings or when it's been raining, because we play in all kinds of weather. That's the difference between us and ball golfers. We're not deterred by rain. We're really not. So you need something to dry off your disc so it doesn't fly out your hand at the wrong time when you're throwing. So towels are very important for disc golfers, ironically.
Cute.
You know, I actually
Very
looked
cool.
looked online before coming here, and I think we have about 1,100 club members. You
Are you
know,
kidding me?
across the U.S. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you know, it's something big. It's growing, and yeah, we have a lot of work to do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So, what is your vision for how big this can be and how big you'd like your club to be?
All disc golf all the time. I don't know. The sky's the limit right now. It just seems like
Awesome.
it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
You know, the one thing my dad always told me is the harder you work, the more work you get. And I'm finding that
Yes.
we're swamped. We really are. But it's a good feeling. You know, some nights I go to bed, I'm tired. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to
Well-
get up tomorrow morning and do it again. But you know, the love of disc golf is just there. And like Brian was saying, I mean, most of your disc golfers are just, you know, very loving people.
Awesome.
I've never run into somebody I didn't like, and that keeps us going. And so, as a club, yes, we do want to do outreach. We want to build more courses. We want to share, you know, what's important to us and our enjoyment.
Oh yeah.
And it's
All right. And talk about the ratio of men to women in this sport and
Yeah.
in our area. And then also, I'd like to know, is there any plan to reach out to the high school and the middle school to have teams?
Yeah. The ratio of men to women needs to go up. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. But the great thing about that is if you're a woman and you're interested in playing disc golf right now and you get into it competitively, you hone your skills just even a little bit, you might be winning money in tournaments right now. At least local ones. Because the field is growing and it definitely needs to be bigger. As far as like reaching out to the schools, we have a plan for that, and maybe John can hit that.
Yeah, so like we said earlier, we did an outreach with the port. So we gave out 500 discs to the first 500 people coming into the court, to the baseball game. What we would like to see is the high schools introducing disc golf to their activities, one of their activities. I talked to a principal over at Sierra Middle School and told him we were putting a disc golf course in. He said, I would love to add that to one of our activities, our electives.
Awesome.
So what we were thinking is maybe what we can do as a club is go to different schools, donate a box of discs, donate a basket, a practice basket, so they can, get introduced to the sport. What I would like to see is I'd like to see high school teams, much like football, basketball, baseball. I would like to see disc golf teams. Now, there are college teams that actually play against each other. And so wouldn't it be nice to reach down a little,
Yes.
A step down on the rung of the ladder and have high schools doing this?
That would be
scholarships.
awesome.
Yeah.
And to me, what I really like about it, and I have a question about skill level, but we'll come back to that. What I like about it is that the costs are minimal. And to me, from what I've seen and what you've said, I feel like anyone can play disc golf. Let's talk about that. Do you agree with that? Disagree?
Well, I think disc golf is much like playing kickball. Anybody can kick a ball.
Yep.
Anybody
Okay.
can throw a disc.
Absolutely.
Now, it all depends on how much you practice.
Of course.
If you practice a lot, you're going to get better. If you just go out once a week and throw the disc, it's fun. Anybody can play.
And you're always challenging yourself.
Yes. So if you want to be competitive, obviously you're going to practice. But if you do practice, you will get better. It's something that you can walk on the course with no experience and walk off the course saying, that was fun, I'm going to go back
Perfect.
tomorrow because I'm going to get better tomorrow.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a way that a lot of people see bowling, and I like that because that means that more people can participate. So do you consider this mental and physical activity?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll
awesome.
tell you, if I haven't, you're going to walk like 3 to 4 miles during a round of 18.
Okay.
And that's hoping if you're walking. And, and then obviously you're throwing with some physical exertion. And to do that well, you need to have that consistency, and that consistency it is in your head, just like ball golf. I mean, you get up there, and if you think you're going to do this, and if you're gonna probably be right. If you think you can do it, you're probably going to be right.
Awesome.
And if you think about, well, I don't know if I can get over that water, you may not get over that water, or you may hit that tree. So it is definitely a mental game, and I think it's more a mental game than it is a physical one. But there is some physical exertion there for sure.
All right.
Absolutely, yeah.
And in what you just described, that sounds very similar to ball golf. I was going to ask you, what makes one course more challenging than another?
Well, it all depends on, do you have elevation? Is it woody? Is there water hazards?
Wind.
Wind. Actually, when I designed this course, I took wind into account. If an amateur was to throw a disc in a headwind, where's that disc going to end up? I don't want it to end up in a playground or in the fairway.
Or in the water.
Or in the water, and so that's not fun. And so that was one of the considerations in the design. So you have to design for the amateur and the pro. And so, where am I going with this? We wanted to make sure that everybody was going to have fun at this course. And so, is it like ball golf? Absolutely. You try to get into the basket with the least amount of strokes. So, design the course to where I can play, Brian can play, intermediate can play, a pro can play.
I think the biggest difference between ball golf and disc golf is that the discs get stuck in trees. The balls usually don't, and the discs are somewhat easier to find. If you land in a hazard, you take a stroke to redo your lie. The holing out is a similar structure.
All right, and if someone contacts you that a disc is stuck in a tree or it's stuck in the water, what will you do? Do you help them at all?
Oh yeah,
get that disc back?
The first thing you ought to do is when you buy your disc golf discs, is you write your phone number on it and your name, because that way if one of us finds it, the rule is you call the number, unless there's so many of them you can't. Like if the pro shop at Swenson gets your disc, or the entry kiosk at Oak Grove is given your disc that someone has found, go check there. But if you lose your disc, write your name on it first so that we can call you if we find it. That's generally the rule.
Awesome.
It's a courtesy. I mean, it happens everywhere. I actually lost a disc, and somebody called me from, I think it was like New Jersey. I found your discs.
I heard this.
Yeah, crazy story. So everybody writes their name on their discs. I lost my disc, don't know when, don't know where. I got a call several years later. Lady says, I found your disc in my backyard. And it's a funny thing because it had your name and number on it. We find a lot of discs in our backyard, but none of them had their name or number on it. I was just curious, what does this mean? And I said, it means you found my disc. Where are you? I'm in New Jersey. I've never played there. So maybe somebody grabbed my disc, put it in their bag, forgot to call, went back home. And then lost my disc.
That's funny.
At that point, it was just keep the disc. I hope you have fun.
On the flip side of that is I have a story where I didn't write my name down, and I was playing San Francisco Golden Gate Park, and I threw a disc and it ended up on a log, and I went up to do my next shot, and I did my next shot, and I forgot to pick the disc up. And it turns out that some guy 3 groups behind me had finally picked it up, and finally I got to this spot where the course had bent around in a corner, and I was able to talk to the 3rd group behind me because I was progressively asking the groups, no, I hadn't seen your disc. And so I finally got this 3rd group, and this guy had found my disc, but he had already written his name on it because it didn't have a name on it, and he figured he was just going to keep it because, it's a free disc, hey, why not? And so he gives it back to me, and I still have not crossed his name out, so if I ever lose that disc, it will go to him.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So talk about the difference in the discs. Talk about the types of discs, and talk about the weights of the discs, the colors of the discs.
Well, much like clubs in ball golf, you have a putter, you have a driver, you have a wedge. You have all these different clubs in your bag. We have the same thing. We have putters, we have mid-range, we have drivers. Putter is something that you can throw a putter for an upshot, so to speak. You can throw a putter 150 feet, from your lie. But most people use their putters just to execute that last throw into the chains, into the disc golf basket, into the target. Mid-range discs, they're a little bit more aerodynamic. They fly a little bit farther than the putter, and you use those for whether it's a left-handed shot, a lefty shot, a righty shot. If you have to go through trees, you have to S your disc through trees. You use your fairway drivers for your second shots. Off the tee box, you'll use a driver. A driver is the high-performance disc. It's got a distance of anywhere from 250 to 600 feet, depending on your skill level. So we do have at least 3 different styles of discs: your putters, your mid-ranges, and of course your drivers. And again, they range anywhere from $10 to $25, depending on the performance of that disc.
Well, heck, you can go to various stores around town or the state and buy used discs for much less than that.
And can you get them in all different colors?
Oh,
or
yeah.
Different colors, different weights. Now, weights are really important too. Some of your top pros, they like to throw a max weight, which is about 175 grams.
Depending on the disc size.
Yeah. And so, some of the ladies, they like throwing 161 grams. Myself, I'm really comfortable with 171 grams. That's my weight. That's what I can throw well.
That's what I like too, actually.
Yeah. There's different kinds of plastic. There's bubble plastic, which is a really light plastic. They call it blizzard plastic.
Yeah.
I have a couple in my bag. I'm sorry, guys. I do throw blizzard.
I have a blizzard beast. I won't lie.
Yeah. But yes, they do come in all different weights, and so depending on your skill level, depends on how much they call it torque. How much torque you can torque that disc to maximize its distance.
Right, and generally how the edge of the disc is designed versus the flight plate of the disc itself will actually determine whether a disc goes straight, will fade to the left, or fade negatively to the right and then back. That's of course if you're using a backhand shot. So I mean it depends. They call that the one that fades to the opposite side of the spin and then comes back. They call it an anhyzer shot versus a straight on versus a hyzer shot. So the hyzer shot is something that just turns over quickly.
And we can make disc golf sound really, really complicated, but
really huge physics debate.
Yeah, but really it's a fun time. You can go out with a starter pack, a family. Can just go out and have a really good time with, a handful of discs, and
awesome.
Anybody can play. Yeah.
And is there a set spacing between the holes? You talked about how far some of these discs are available, like the driver is 250 to 600 feet.
Depends on the course. Swenson, we had so much space to work with. It's a 9-hole executive course. I wanted to put 18 holes of disc golf on that course. And so some of the holes are as short as 200 feet. Our longest hole, I believe, is 540-ish, maybe 530-ish feet. So maximizing the space there determine, what the distance between tee box and basket was. Or
that's one of the things we haven't mentioned so far is that we do have pars, just like golf, ball golf, I should say. And so the 505-foot hole would probably be a par 4.
Yeah, and now I just got back from Santa Cruz. I played in a Masters Cup this weekend, really popular tournament. Out there, they have holes that are 800 feet long.
Wow.
Next weekend is Glen Eagles. That's another tournament I'm going to participate in, 1,000-foot hole. So that's 3.5. That's 3.5 football fields.
Glen Eagles is another ball golf course in South San Francisco that added disc golf, and so the designer of that is pretty well known in our community, and because of his ability and the way that course has been executed, they're actually bringing the Disc Golf Pro Tour for that next week.
All right. Awesome.
And so it really does depend on the tournament that you're going to host. Your top pros are going to go to those bigger arm courses. A lot of your amateurs and your intermediates are going to participate in some of the more local stuff. And so, you try to have something for everybody.
How dynamic is the course? Let's say in the next 6 months you find, okay, I thought this basket would be perfect here, but there's this tree and it's really difficult and we're having issues. How hard is it to move that basket?
Well, difficulty is something that we like. We like difficult holes.
Okay.
But out at Swenson, there is actually 27 pin positions. So there are 18 holes or baskets or pin positions, and there are 9 alternates. And so in the future, if we have the ability to add more holes, we will. And it's just a way of changing things around.
Okay.
So the baskets aren't going to stay stagnant,
Okay.
Forever. We can move the baskets, and it actually changes the course.
Sort of the equivalent of the greenskeeper going out every week and cutting a new hole in the green at the ball golf course. It's just a little bit different, but and a little bit further for us actually, because we like to change the nature of the hole a lot when we do it.
Okay.
Yeah, and like at Oak Grove, the course went in back in the late '80s, and it slowly evolved. We're constantly changing, and that's good. That's great for the sport.
Mm-hmm.
People like change.
Yes. Well, and it gives it the ability to be dynamic. Is good, because as things change, you want to be able to adapt to that. So that's excellent. Any final comments from either one of you about disc golf or Delta Windjammers?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, well, we'd love to have you come out, see the new course, see the old one. Like I said, if you see any of us out there, please ask us any questions, and we'll definitely try to answer them as best as we can. We just really are intent on growing the sport. In fact, that is the hashtag for disc golf, is hashtag grow the sport. So if you're curious, you can look that up. And come check out our Facebook page. And I believe our website is the deltawindjammers.com. You can check out that. I think the best place to go is our Facebook page. There'll be daily information on what's going on at both courses.
Awesome.
And disc golf really is an addiction. I mean, once you start and once you put a disc in your hand and throw it and see what it does, it really does kind of take over, and it makes you want more. And we'd love to have more people come out. We just again want to grow the sport.
Hashtag grow the sport.
And I know earlier you mentioned that at Swenson you can start playing earlier in the morning. Is there kind of a meetup time of day where a lot of disc golfers will be out on the course?
We do a weekly. Right now we're doing our weekly at 4:30, at 4:30, 5 o'clock out at Oak Grove. And that's every Wednesday. We're talking about doing a weekly at Swenson, or at least a monthly, and it'll be on a Tuesday, because in the valley we have our weeklies on Wednesdays. There's another sister group, the Lodi Chain Crushers, that do a tournament.
Crushers.
Or a weekly.
That's great.
They do a weekly on Thursday, and so we're clubs, and we participate in things together. So we don't want to step on them; they don't step on us. And so now that we have a new course, we can do a Tuesday weekly. And so what we're hoping to do is start out with a monthly. At Swenson on a Tuesday. It might turn into a weekly. But yeah, it's go to Delta Windjammers, like our Facebook page, and we chatter all the time. You'll find a group.
A lot of chatter.
Yeah, you'll find a group to play with.
The other thing I was thinking of is that now that we have the new course, we're probably looking to do another weekly on Saturdays, but we haven't exactly squared that away yet. Mostly because there seems to be a lot of people going to regional tournaments on Saturdays.
Okay.
So, but we'll figure it out. And like I said, the Facebook page is going to be the best place to check that out.
And if you want to know about disc golf, a great resource is PDGA. If you just go to Google and you type in PDGA, you'll see the Professional Disc Golf Association. It talks all about disc golf. It talks about rules, courses, where to find a course. Events, where's the next event. It's just full of information. It's a great resource.
Gosh, that's the one thing we didn't mention was in August. Is it August or July?
Which?
Anderson Valley.
The boot fling?
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy. Yeah, it's in August.
Well, that was the other thing that the Windjammers do. We have a one course, we have a one tournament that we do out at Boonville in Anderson Valley. And we do it at the Anderson Valley Brewing Company. So you ought to check that out if you really get into it.
Do you know the date in August?
That's going to be on Disc Golf Scene. That's another website where we
I would look that up on both our Facebook page and pdga.com.
Yeah.
And what about videos where you talked about some of the angles and the names for the throws? Are there videos on YouTube that people can look up to see how to do the throws?
Most definitely, yeah.
Awesome.
There's a great series from, I think it's Nate Sexton, talking about, he's a touring pro who talks about the different kinds of shots. But if you look up just basic disc golf throwing or disc golf throws, you'll figure that out. There's backhands, there's forehands, there's overhand shots, there's rescue shots, there's putting clinics. I mean, there's all kinds of information because this community, if one thing, embraces technology really, really well.
Yeah, you can find everything on YouTube.
I've heard that.
Yeah. Including disc golf.
Our show will be on YouTube.
Wow.
All right. Well, it's been really exciting to hear about Delta Windjammers and disc golf in our community. And I'm just so thrilled. It was amazing Tuesday morning to see how many people were out there. And even though it took 3 months to do the course, it really seemed like it happened overnight. So kudos to you,
Thank you,
to both of you. And to a shout out to everyone who sponsored and helped to make the course possible. It's just thrilling to see the community come together in so many different ways to support Swenson. And I love that so many different people are coming up with ideas and a wide range of events so that we can hopefully keep Swenson, not have it be housing, keep it as a ball golf course and now a disc course, which is really exciting to me. I really appreciate both of you being here today.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I am the voice of Stockton. You are the voice of Stockton. We are the voice of Stockton. Let's make it a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.